Good morning from Little Creek Bee Ranch. I wanted to share another tip with you. What you're looking at is a styrofoam ice chest, and a drop light has been inserted in the middle. And the purpose of this is to help us revert back some honey that is maybe going to sugar, or some has started to go to sugar this time of year. Sometimes we'll get a little cooler nights, and maybe the honey's been left in the truck or something, and it'll start to turn. So when you have a number of jars, 1 or 2 jars is easy to do. You can do that on the stove top with some warm water and then take the lid off. But if you're doing 20, 30, 40 jars at a time, you don't want to do that one at a time. That's too labor intensive and time consuming. So what we have done in the past is to take an old styrofoam ice chest. I don't know, it's a pretty big one, and we have the rag around here to keep the heat in. The drop light cord is threaded through the hole, and then a wire is placed through the ring and just kind of pinned down the corners just to kind of hold the drop light in there. And we surround the light with jars that'll be stacked up. I don't know if we can do this without the light messing the video up. Let's see. So in here I'll grab a jar, and they're hot. They get pretty hot, stacked up on the corners. Ow, that is hot. Little jars, and ooh, pretty warm. And we'll fill it up. There may be 30 jars in there, something like that. And we'll run it 12 hours, and then when we go to bed, of course, we'll turn the light off and come back in the morning and turn it back on. What was amazing to me, when we shut it down at 10 last night, I came back in this morning about 8, and to feel inside, and it's still warm. The light was off, but it was still warm all that night. That styrofoam helps keep that heat in. But this is a good, easy way to get honey turned back just by putting a drop light in. It doesn't seem like it would do it, but boy, it sure does warm up in there. And here in a little while, we'll turn the light off and go through the whole stack and take a good look at them all. And the ones that we feel are turned back, we'll pull out. 12 hours usually does it. But I know a lot of beekeepers are going to have honey that goes to sugar, particularly canola. If you have any canola honey, it turns to sugar real quick. So if it's all jarred up, this is a good way. Now I don't think I'd put my plastic jars in here, okay? Because it gets pretty hot. I just turned it on a couple of hours ago, so I can still touch it. But after 6 or 8 hours, you have to have a towel. It doesn't boil. The honey doesn't do anything like that. It's just a real efficient way to get honey turned back into liquid rather than trying to do it one at a time. Let me see if I can turn the light off, and I'll show you the inside, so forgive me here a second. I'll find that darn button. There we go. Okay, light's off. And you see the drop light just hangs in the middle, and all the jars are stacked in there accordingly. Just the best way. And I put the jars towards the middle, are the ones that are the most sugared. Oops. They're the ones that are the most sugared. And whether it's quarts or pints or whatever, but these are a bunch of flavored half pints. And now it's time for me to go through there and look at each one and kind of see if they've turned back. And whatever I think hasn't, I'll leave in there. We'll run again for the afternoon, but I'll always turn it off at night when we go to bed. So nothing fancy. I mean, it doesn't have to be a fancy system to be efficient and work. You just have to understand what you're doing and why you're doing it. Any ice chest probably work. This one's a pretty good size one. I would use a styrofoam ice chest. You might get a smaller one. I don't know about that. I try to get a big one if I could. But I wanted to share that with you. I hope that helps somebody. That's a good way to get your honey turned back into liquid without doing it one at a time. Hey, have an awesome day.